The world is one big mysterious place. Seriously, there's so much stuff that we don't have the answers to and probably will never understand. Today, we will be discussing some of these things. From spontaneous human combustion to fireballs shooting out of rivers. Let's talk about this and more only in today's video. Top 10 strange events that humans can't explain. Hey everyone, what's up and welcome back to Most Amazing Top 10. I'm your host Lindsay Ivan, and before we begin, why don't you check out my new channel? It's called Peach. Go ahead, check it out. It's a fun time. And then you can also smash that like button and subscribe to this channel. That being said, let's start the video. Starting off this countdown, we have the Taos Hum. Back in the early 1990s, residents of the town of Taos in north-central New Mexico started hearing a weird humming noise. Since then, more and more people have also heard this weird noise. They describe it as a mysterious and faint, low-frequency hum in the desert air. Now, only 2% of the residents have actually reported hearing this noise. Some believe that it's a result of mass hysteria, like one person heard it and then people were just freaking themselves out, being like, oh my god, I think I hear it too. Or they think it's the government spying on them or blasting them with some weapon. Now, equipment was set up and tests were done to see if they could detect this noise. And after a lengthy investigation, nothing was found. So, is it all in their heads? Or is the government up to something? Coming in at number 9, we have the dancing plague. This is the scariest thing I have ever heard of, I swear. So in 1518, the citizens of France were plagued by a weird illness. Basically, it caused them to dance uncontrollably and unwillingly for days. This lasted for 2 months until it just randomly stopped. It all started in July of 1518 when a woman named Miss Trophia started to begin dancing. She was unable to stop and kept dancing until she passed out. When she woke up, she continued to dance for days. Then suddenly it happened to 30 more people. Eventually, around 400 people were a victim to this weird dancing plague. In fact, it killed a couple people per day and injured hundreds. Now, there are a couple of theories as to why this happened. 1. They were all possessed by a demon. 2. They had overheated blood. Or 3. Theory goes that they ate bread made from rye flour that was contaminated with ergot. Ergot is known to cause people to convulse. However, these are only theories. This mysterious case has never been solved. And does anyone know about that creepypasta about the song and dance man? Doesn't it sound like that story, but it like came to life? I swear to god, if he is real, I'm going with Elon Musk to Mars. This isn't even a joke. Moving on to number 8, we have the earthquake lights. This is something that occurs sometimes before, during, or after large earthquakes. Basically, blue, white, or multicolored lights have been seen flashing in the sky. The lights only lasted a few seconds, but the longest it has lasted has been a minute. Now, these lights aren't new. They have been reported back to around 373 BCE. The majority of reports, though, come from the 20th century. It's pretty weird and no one knows what causes it. In fact, scientists didn't even believe this was a thing until somebody captured it on video. In 2010, Chilean journalist Cecilia Lagos witnessed the earthquake lights. She said, and I quote, "I saw through my window while I was still in bed. I saw the sky changing colors. It was absolutely surreal. I really thought it was the end of the world. That was the most terrifying thing, seeing the sky changing colors." Now, there are some theories as to what causes it. One is that it's a result of rocks grinding against each other. Maybe it creates an electrical charge that makes the sky glow. Others believe that it's a warning sign sent from heaven that an earthquake is about to happen. Coming in at number 7, we have the black birds. Back in 2011, thousands of blackbirds in Arkansas dropped dead just after New Year's. Residents woke up to find thousands of dead red-winged blackbirds just laying on the ground. The dead birds on the road went on for miles, and residents were freaking out, which is totally understandable because I would have been like, yo, that's a bad omen, the world's about to end. Anyways, a town supervisor got the call and had to go clean up the birds. He said he cleaned up anywhere from 4,000 to 5,000 dead birds. Isn't that crazy? And to this day, we don't know what made these birds all of a sudden just drop dead. Theory 1 is that the birds were killed by lightning or a high altitude hailstorm, whereas conspiracy theorists believe that it was a result of a sonic boom. Now, they did end up taking some of the birds in for testing, but they still couldn't determine their cause of death. In our 6th spot today, we have the Patom Crater. This is the name of a giant crater located in Siberia. It's about 520 feet wide and 139 feet tall, and we literally don't know how it formed or what the heck happened. The crater was first officially reported in 1949 by a Russian geologist, but it dates back to over 500 years ago. Some believe that it formed as a result of a nuclear explosion, or a steam explosion that happened back in the day from things shifting around in the Earth's core. Then others believe it to be more paranormal. Locals have noticed that the area surrounding it is dead. Nothing will grow there. On top of that, animals refuse to go anywhere near it. So they believe something spooky or sinister is going on with this crater thing. We're now at our 5th and halfway mark with the Naga Fireballs. Every year, hundreds of fireballs explode out of Thailand's Mekong River. Since then, they have been given the name the Naga Fireballs. You heard me. Fireballs coming out of a river, which seems impossible since fire and water don't mix. Anyways, this typically happens a couple of days in October and May when the Earth is closest to the sun. According to the locals, the river is home to a big serpent that breathes fire. The fireballs that come out of the river are from the serpent spewing them out of its mouth. In fact, a number of people have claimed to see this serpent and provided a number of photos for evidence. Sadly, they're always grainy. The other explanation is that they are caused by pockets of methane bubbling up from the river. But as I mentioned before, we still don't know for sure. In our 4th spot today, we have the UFO Battle. In 1942 in Los Angeles, something flew over the skies. Now, the country was on high alert at this time because of the attack on Pearl Harbor, so they were monitoring everything very carefully. When the thing flew over the sky, they shot at it with 1,500 shells, and it still managed to stay in the sky. When the shots were fired, people woke up and were like, "Whoa, what's going on?" That's when they saw weird lights in the sky along with a spaceship. To this day, no one knows what they really saw. The government was like, "Oh, no, it was just a weather balloon. Yeah, you guys are just freaking yourself out." But if it was a weather balloon, why were they firing at it? And how come no wreckage of the balloon was ever found? Just saying, guys, just saying. In our 3rd spot, we have spontaneous human combustion. Now, I've talked about this briefly before with the case of Matilda Rooney, a woman who literally just exploded one night, like somehow a fire started within her and then boom. Well, this isn't the first time that it happened. It also happened in 1951 with a woman named Mary Reeser. One day, a man was delivering her mail. He tried the doorknob and noticed that the handle was warm. He also noticed that her apartment was warm, which was odd because all the windows were open. When he entered the apartment, nothing inside was weird or out of place. But there was a pile of ashes in the corner and Mary's left foot. That's all that was left of Mary. Isn't that so weird? Just somehow she into thin air. For her to turn into a pile of ashes like that, she would have had to have been in a 3,000-degree fire that burned for several hours. So that's just freaky. In our 2nd spot today, we have the Belmez Faces. In 1971, a woman named Maria Gomez was cleaning up her kitchen when she noticed a stain forming on her concrete kitchen floor. Later, the stain developed into a creepy, disturbing face. Not only that, but the stain would move positions on the floor. Maria tried to scrub the face away, but it did not work. In fact, her husband ended up destroying the concrete floor and then re-cementing it all. But the face mysteriously reappeared a week later. That's not all. Soon, images of these weird stained faces appeared all over the house. Later, the floor under the kitchen was excavated and they found 10 skeletons buried underneath there. So could it be their faces that were appearing all over the house? To this day, the stained faces are still there and no one knows how they formed. And in our number 1 spot, we have Betty and Barney Hill. This is one of the most famous alien abduction stories of all time. So husband and wife Barney and Betty Hill were driving home one night after having a vacation at Niagara Falls. It was September 19th, 1961 and everything was going well for the two. That was until around midnight when they saw this weird bright falling star in the sky. Then they were like, okay, whoa, it's not a falling star, it looks like it's following us, whatever it is. So Barney pulled over and sure enough, this bright thing was coming right at them. When it got closer, they saw humanoids inside of a rotating 40-foot long UFO. The next thing they remember is hearing a bunch of beeps, and then they passed out. They woke up 2 hours later and were 35 miles down the road from where they originally pulled over. They reported what happened to them, and obviously people were skeptical, but a lot of things proved otherwise. Both Barney and Betty had scrapes on the top of their shoes, suggesting they had been dragged. Betty also had these marks on her dress as well, and they underwent a series of interviews, and everything they said always matched. To this day, we don't know what to think. Did they really get abducted by aliens? If they didn't, then what the heck happened to them? Alright guys, that's all for today's video. Let me know in the comments below which one of these little stories creeped you out the most. And now, speaking of comments, let's move on to our comment shoutout portion. I'll be shouting out comments from the video top 10 places more contaminated than Chernobyl. Dallas Gibson commented, "Hey, LOL at this cool thing I stole. Starts the next big radioactive incident. You know, I've messed up before, but nothing like this dude, LMAO." Yeah, honestly, they screwed a lot of people over, let's just say that. So don't steal, folks! Don't steal. John Styles commented, "Imagine if this begins the zombie apocalypse." No. No. Just no. It's not happening. And if it does happen, see ya. Renoke Love commented, "I like your tank top on you. What brand is the shirt? It's cute, but I can't make out the designer." Honestly, you guys should know by now, everything that I wear is thrifted, so if you're like, "Oh, that's cute, where's it from?" Probably Value Village. It's a thrift store in Canada. Or like, you know. Anyway, I also sell vintage clothes if you want to buy it. Okay, so alright guys, that's all the comments I'm shouting out for today's video. Make sure to comment something down below for a chance to be featured in my next comment shout out. And as always, don't forget to give this video a big thumbs up and subscribe to Most Amazing Top 10 for more amazing videos. I've been your host, Lindsay Ivan, and I'll see you when I see ya. So husband and wife Barney and Betty Hill were driving. Barney and Betty Hill? I don't know why I had an accent there. That's all that was left of Mary. Sorry, that sounded bad, but...